cracking, y'all? The homie PatrickCC got another video out. Terry Crews tried to warn us. They mocked him. Look, there was a couple times the world put the mirror up or as my nigga Nipsey said, I'm gonna draw the line. You're gonna pick who you gonna ride with. There's a couple times that stuff happened in the world / the United States that really showed your true colors, of course. The main two, of course, when Kaepernick kneed and when Trump got elected. Now, I don't think Terry Crews got anything to do with the Trump thing, but a lot of fools had to tuck their tail between their legs with Kaepernick kneed, for example. And I think Terry Crews was one of them. Also, one of my favorite players of all time, Michael Vick, just hella went into you should cut your hair and all that shit. Oh, I stopped fucking with Vic. It just sucked because it showed some cats their true colors and whatnot. Any hoodles, Terry Crews did. I don't know if they try to warn us because he was saying that executive grabbed his and then his wife in front of his. I don't know, all type of crazy shit. But let's get into it. I know he played football. I know a lot about Terry Crews, but let's react to the homie PatrickCC and get your boy subscribe. Let's get to it.
One of the most universally loved Hollywood stars, Terry Crews, attempted to warn us about the depraved nature of powerful executives in the industry. Not only did he share his extremely humiliating experience to a global audience, but he also tried to do the right thing and get justice legally, only for his case to be thrown out due to what seemed.
You don't get justice against these. I mean, you can't say the J word on YouTube, but the people that own the industry who are usually from Israel, we'll just say that, there's no going to court with them. There's no fighting with them. Man, they have they have the United States and the business by a chokehold. It's crazy.
To be the LAPD being paid off. As if that wasn't bad enough, self-proclaimed macho men in the industry made fun of Terry for sharing his story, giving more of a reason for victims to remain silent.
Terry Crews is like the Hulk, and I just couldn't get how he said that he didn't, like he froze, like he was afraid.
A little chubby white man grabbed your nuts and you ain't do shit. That's funny.
I think it's hard for me to think that a dude with all those muscles can't tell an agent to not touch his ass.
Is there a chance that Terry just might be gay and hasn't come out the closet yet?
Because I had the same thought that you just had.
Ironically, as much as these men tried to minimize,
it's him being a COON. It's just a simple fact that he's like, well, if I say something, there's no way I'm gonna get white chicks. I'm not gonna get all that and shit. You know what I'm saying? You acting like a real Mick asshole right now. Longest yard. I'm not gonna get these movies if I tell. So I have to choose what I'm gonna do. He chose to keep that a secret until maybe he got his money up and then the story came out.
Crews, all it did was expose themselves for being a cog in the wheel of Hollywood's evil machine.
From our lush reds,
I'll try to tell y'all,
to our balanced whites.
Hey, we're almost there. We like at 60 something, y'all. You gotta get we to that 100. Damn, one of these videos should get a nigga to 100. That's crazy. But come on, 100 subs, we going premium. We ain't gotta deal with this hoopla no more.
Countless dark moments in Terry's career. Although the world saw him as a lovable, muscular teddy bear, deep down,
plus a lot of people they think his wife kind of wears the pants in his family, but we'll get to that later.
He was suffering from a lifetime of pain. Today we are going to deep dive into the tragic story of Terry Crews, the gentle giant who never had to build a facade to be loved. The reason Terry Crews decided to become a chiseled 250-pound beast was because he thought he would have to kill his father.
A lot of my desire to be strong was because I
never want to get personal, but I'm not gonna say it.
Knew one day I may have to kill my father.
Terry Crews was the son of a violent alcoholic father and an extremely religious mother.
Well, my earliest memory is my father knocking my mother out. He was physically abusive, just straight up. And it's wild because he didn't hit us because my mother would kill him.
Right.
But my mother let him hit her. Not let, I wouldn't even say let, but she would just say, she kind of took her abuse as par for the course.
Divorce was not even considered an option because of his mother's religious views, so Terry had to witness this constant violence through his formative years. Additionally, his mother's religion did not allow Terry to go to the movies, watch television, listen to music, or really do anything that was secular. So he developed an incredible imagination and a knack for drawing.
I started this art ability simply because I had
black
a
people are
huge
Jehovah's
imagination and was
Michael Jackson
wondering
was.
what the world was like.
I believe
I mean,
Charlemagne.
people would tell me, you know, they went to the movies and they would describe the films and I would try to draw them out.
Wow.
Because I couldn't see them.
Whether it was playing the flute, dancing, painting, or acting, Terry knew he was destined to be an artist. But coming from Flint, Michigan, being an artist was not a realistic career, so he constantly felt the need to suppress his dreams. In the 9th grade, he was finally allowed to play sports, and being a larger kid, he gravitated to football. At Flint Academy High School, Terry was the backbone of their defense. Despite this, he never got any offers to play college ball. He did, however, receive an art excellence scholarship to attend Western Michigan University. At WMU, he decided he would give football another chance. Due to his size and natural athletic ability, he earned a spot on the team as a walk-on player. As a defensive end, Terry was named to the All-American team by the National Strength and Conditioning Association. Over his college career, Terry Crews recovered 4 fumbles, which was one shy of a school record, and recorded 12 tackles in a 24-12 victory over Wisconsin. His play on the field helped him earn second-team All-Mid-American Conference honors. Crews helped Western Michigan win the Mid-American Conference Championship in 1988. And even though Terry still believed he was destined to be an artist, he just had no realistic way of achieving that dream. Plus, he had a chance of making the National Football League.
All the way back to college, when I was dating my wife, I told her we were sitting at a Wendy's parking lot. We were sitting in the Wendy's. They had little places in the front where we sit there. And I said, look, first I'm going to play in the NFL. Then we're going to move to Hollywood. We're going to make movies. I made that promise. You see, because I always talk.
Right.
And that's what got on everybody's nerves. Right. Okay, they was like, he talking again. Yeah. But I told her, I said, that's what we're going to do. We're going to play in the NFL. Then we're going to move to Hollywood and make movies. She was like, okay.
And all this talk about football is reminding me that it's the best time of the year. The NFL season and the NBA season are underway. And my partner, Underdog, wants you...
Shout out to Underdog. That's all other ones.
Los Angeles Rams drafted Terry Crews in the 11th round. As a rookie with the LA Rams, he played in only 6 games that season on special...
If you guys didn't know, there's only 7 rounds now. A lot of the greats, though, I swear, man, you hear all these stories about the legends, Hall of Famers getting drafted in the 11th and the 12th, and crazy, bruh.
Teams and then sat out the rest of the 91 and 92 seasons. If you didn't know, the vast majority of NFL players don't earn those multi-million-dollar paychecks, especially in the 90s. Plus, if you don't make the official roster or you get hurt, you don't get paid. Crews played for 6 different teams in 7 years. He was constantly getting cut and was never able to secure that big contract. So he had to use his artistic abilities to make money.
I would get cut from a team. Okay. And, you know, I played on 6 teams in 7 years, so that happened a lot. So I would go back into the locker room and ask the players if they wanted their portraits painted.
After being cut?
Yes, because that's how I survived. I was always on the end of the roster. I was never a big superstar. I was an 11th round draft pick. So my whole thing is, I mean, humility gets you far. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to make some money. You got to humble yourself. And I would go back in, and you know it was so cool because the big stars, they'd be like, man, let's just do, I'll get a little brother a painting, you know, and I'll give him some money. And it was really kind of cool, but the thing is, I was really good.
It would take him about 2 months to complete a painting as it was done entirely by hand, but he would charge the players about $5,000 per piece, and that was enough to pay his rent, feed his wife, and 2 daughters. Terry even says the reason he's bald is because he was so broke.
In 1991, I had the most beautiful flat top you could imagine. And then I went to the NFL, and I was like, oh man, my high top is so beautiful, and then I got cut. And so I was like, oh man, barbershops cost money. And I had no money. I mean, I literally was broke. I just went, I'm going all out, I'm shaving it off, and I was so disappointed.
Were you really?
Bro, wait, first of all, you gotta talk about, I didn't know it was lumpy. I had no idea there was lumps in my head.
It was now 1997. Terry was almost...
As I watched these interviews, he's such a lovable dude, you know? Of course, This guy was on the cloud nine when he came out with white chicks, and he was loved by brothers, and he was loved by white people and all races. Terry was starting to be on some like Snoop shit, just loved by everyone. You know what I'm saying? And I could see Terry Crews doing this kind of shit that he was doing at the Olympics or stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But man, once, like I said, I'm sure I don't know if Patrick will talk about it, but once that Kaepernick shit hit, and then the grabbing of the shit was just different after that because
30 years old, and he knew he was never going to get the consistent NFL job. Over his 7-year career, Terry played in a total of 26 NFL games and secured a total of 5 tackles. Feeling defeated with absolutely no direction to go in, it was actually his wife who brought up that promise that he made to her back in college. She said, "Let's take the girls to Hollywood and make movies." But how does a guy with no money, no connections, and a family of 4 survive in Hollywood?
Damn, by this time
well,
he
he
has
started
4
by
kids?
asking his former Washington Redskins teammate Ken Harvey for money.
And I was taking these loans from my friend, continued to take, I probably took about 20, 30 loans from this guy. And he was a pro football player. He's my good friend, Ken Harvey. He's still my good friend to this day. And that's what's so amazing. He stopped and said, "Hey, man," I asked him for one more loan. He said, "Dude, that's it. I can't do it anymore."
Terry lived off his friend's money for 1.5 years trying to get a job working behind the scenes of a Hollywood production. He was unsuccessful. Desperate to pay the bills, he went to a temp agency to find work where they gave him a job sweeping factory floors for $8 an hour.
Sweeping floors humbled me. Like, there's a breaking that you have to go through. Because there was a long time I wouldn't do that. Right. And I was like, hey man, I'm too proud for this. And what would everybody think if they see me sweeping the floor? Right. And my wife was like, they don't know you.
After sweeping floors, Terry used his natural size and NFL
your ass.
class to apply for security work. He landed multiple jobs in LA working security outside of various Hollywood studios. In 1999, he was working outside the set during the filming of Next Friday, starring Ice Cube and Mike Epps. Terry's job on that set was to secure, aka just watch Ice Cube's car for 12 hours.
And I was out there literally watching Cube's car. And there I'm like, I'm in the business. But I was so far from anything happy.
Through working security, Terry met a friend who was a location manager. Location managers basically just oversee all of the various locations of a film production, and they also hire security to secure those locations.
Well, he's like, "Dude, we're doing this really intense movie at the Jungle right now with Denzel Washington. You gotta come check it out." I came on set as a visitor. I've always realized that you just have to go.
Gotta
if
show
you
up.
just show up, a lot of times your opportunity.
Never show up to a wrestling. I'm gonna use a wrestling reference, for example. Never show up without your gear. One of them signings, one of whatever. I mean, they say this like when you're trying to become a wrestler and you're backstage, you could be a local talent and just show up at SmackDown. Know a homie who know a homie, and they want you backstage at SmackDown, just chilling, just chop it up with people. You know what I mean? And then that one day, somebody will say, "Hey B, you brought your gear with you?" "Hell yeah, I got the boots in the truck. What's good? What you need?" "Hey man, we need an extra hand to da 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 da." Boom. Hate to be cliche. Stay ready. So you ain't got to get ready, y'all.
Opportunities are there. I was watching Denzel prepare, and I was studying him, and I was like, this is how an actor at the top of his game does his thing. Well, the director walks over to me.
Brisket.
And this is why I need y'all to, you feel me? The same way you commit to your craft on everything I love. And I mean on everything I love. You got to commit to this 100 subs with Nasty. We get to these 100 subs, I get that premium. We ain't got to watch this funny dude in the mustache no more, which his mustache was clean right now. I'm not going to lie. But, and I leave it in so you all could see this. Because I could easily edit this shit out. It's a good way for me to chop it up with y'all. And it shows the, come on, y'all. Get Nasty to 100, bro. Let's 100 subs. I probably get the whole neighborhood if I ask them to sub. They might get 100, but come on, y'all. Let's get this organically, baby. Let's get it. I'm telling you. Unpause this.
Antoine Fuqua. And he said, "Hey man, you want to be in this movie?" I said,
Yeah, I was like, sir, whatever you need me to do. It was wild. And he said, I'm gonna find ways to use you in the movie. And I was like, whatever you need. And I didn't get one dime for training day. I just showed up, I volunteered, I said, whatever I can do, I just wanna help the movie. I want this to be the best thing ever.
Oh, you mother. Okay.
Terry's uncredited role in the film was so small and seemingly so insignificant, yet it was the reason why he got his big break in Hollywood.
See?
Training Day was a $100 million box
Legendary,
office
obviously.
hit, and it just so happened to be one of Ice Cube's favorite movies. And when Ice Cube was watching Training Day, he remembered Terry Crews as the security guard from his set 2 years ago. So he got in contact with Crews and asked him to audition for his next film, Friday After Next.
They remembered me.
That nigga look bad.
So I got a chance to audition for Friday After Next. And I remember us sitting in the waiting room, me and Cat Williams, hoping, praying one day we would be able to, be in this movie. Cat Williams and I decided we were gonna go all in. There was gonna be no holding back. If you look at the scenes with Cat Williams and I,
oh, it's the best.
It's almost
they're the
like
best scenes, low-key.
Intense drama.
Although Friday After Next was not a box office smash, the Friday series was a cult classic loved by millions more than the financials indicate. Terry Crews was officially in. All of what he calls Black Hollywood knew his name, his face, and he was ready to take over.
I knew I was in my destiny. When I say, and this is what I'm saying, I found my destiny. It was so wild because I didn't even want money anymore. I said, I want that feeling again.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's true, because you could talk about athletes and money and all that stuff, but there's a point when I'm sure when you just catching and doing everything right, you want to chase that again.
Despite Terry seeming like he was on top of the world, he was still suffering through dark times. One Christmas that he calls the Christmas from Hell, he decided to take his children and his wife back to Flint, Michigan to see his family. Fearful of his father, also known as Big T, resorting back to his old ways, Terry told him to keep his composure in front of the grandchildren. But once the alcohol got flowing, Big T lashed out. He hit Terry's mom in front of the children, knocking her tooth out of place.
I said, so what's going on? Nothing. I said, didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you not to act up? Didn't I tell you? CT. Bam!
Mm-hmm.
Bam! Bam! Grown ass man now. I hit him. Then my brother came in.
Mm-hmm.
Bam! We beat his ass, CT. Now let me tell you something. This is the thing. Now, this is what
Fletcher's the homie, by the way.
I didn't feel better. I didn't feel better. It didn't work.
Terry learned right there and then that physical violence is never going to solve his problems.
Because the thing is, with all this stuff, you have to rise above. And I wasn't rising above. I went down with him.
Yeah.
I went to his level. This is why gang members, when you shoot back, now you just like everybody else.
Right with him.
You right there with him. There's a moment that I had to choose to rise above, but I didn't.
After this incident, Terry did not return home for over a decade. He went back to Hollywood and masked his pain through his work.
I would've moved
Crews
moms
had
out
not
with
yet
me,
proved
bruh.
himself as a lead in Hollywood. He was only getting minor roles, but he had a drive and dedication like no other. He said yes to almost everything, which led to him filming 4 movies per year. But the one role that earned him global superstardom was his role as Latrell in White Chicks. White Chicks is about 2 fumbling FBI agents who disguise themselves as mega-rich princesses to infiltrate high society, with the obvious caveat that they are black men disguising themselves as white women. That fact alone was enough to get people extremely interested in the film. Terry had met Damon Wayans through his work. Damon is related to Keenan Ivory Wayans, who is Hollywood royalty, producing comedy classics like In Living Color, Scary Movie, Don't Be a Menace to South Central, among others. The Wayans invited Crews to audition for White Chicks, and Terry impressed Keenan, so much so that when he got the part as Latrell, the comedy legend often told Crews to basically freestyle on set. Terry never felt more comfortable as an actor and comedian, and he knew this was his time to shine. In the film, Crews plays the role of pro basketball player Latrell Spencer, who is attracted to Tiffany not knowing that she is actually Marcus disguised as a woman.
Santa must have come early this year, because you were first on my Christmas list.
Woo, there it is right there.
I want to know, are you naughty or nice?
Sorry, I'm not interested.
I'll take that as naughty.
Throughout the entire film, Tiffany is trying to do whatever she can to make Latrell disinterested, whether that be pigging out in front of him or even letting one rip, but it doesn't work. Everything she does just makes Latrell more interested.
Oopsie, I had a poopsie.
Girl, we gonna get along just fine. Back at you.
But the most
back at you.
Introducing the Wendy's Krabby
That's
Patty collab.
disgusting, bro. Damn. That nigga's yeah, I would have I know like he didn't have no money to or whatever, or he didn't have the means to, but imagine what his dad did when they left. I would hope the brothers or whoever stayed in town fucking kept him in line, you know what I'm saying? Cause nigga, I know how that shit is, bro. That shit's crazy, bro. Motherfuckers is just, you gotta be a bitch ass nigga, bro, to just beat on your wife like that. You know what I'm saying? It's real shit, bro. I hate that shit, bro, more than anything. You gotta be a straight bitch ass motherfucker to do some shit like that, bro. Real talk. You can't go outside and you know what I'm saying, rile up no niggas like that. I hate niggas that put their hands to women, bro. But you know, he checked him, but he beat the shit out that nigga too, this big swole ass.
scene from this film
Trail
that
shit.
defined Terry Crews's entire career was when he picked up Tiffany to go out to eat, turned on the radio, and sang every word to 1,000 Miles by Vanessa Carlton. The most shocking part about this scene was that it was actually filmed in just one take. It only took one take because Terry actually loved this song and knew every single word to it before ever stepping onto the movie set. Despite being hilarious in the entire film, Terry's career drastically changed from this scene alone.
Slowly but surely, everything just started to change for me. People would give me my mail, like, making my way downtown. And they were like, do the song. Do the song.
White Chicks grossed over $100 million in the box office, but it is widely regarded as a cult classic. He became recognized globally and his Hollywood presence skyrocketed. From there, Cruise got a taste of the Adam Sandler stimulus package when he secured a role in The Longest Yard, which was a film about a washed-up former professional football.
If you don't know what that means, it means once Adam gets you in there, boy, you good. If you could get on Adam's good side, he puts you in about 10 movies in about 3 years. Holy shit, residual checks, bring them on.
Ball quarterback who goes to prison and is forced to assemble a team
Nelly
to play
was-
against the guards.
This is a good-ass
Terry's
movie,
character, Cheeseburger Eddie, is known for being able to get
Look at
any
Joey
item
Diaz.
from the McDonald's menu into their prison.
I knew you couldn't resist my I got the shakes that'll make you quake. I got the fries that'll cross your eyes. I got the burgers that'll... I just got burgers.
He also did one of the cleanest robot
Baby.
dances you will ever see. Terry continued to steamroll through cult classics, securing the role as the president in Idiocracy. Idiocracy was written and directed by the legendary Mike Judge, who
I
thought
thought
Terry was an
Idiocracy came
absolute
out a long
perfect
time
fit for
ago.
President Camacho, a former
Huh.
professional wrestler and also prawn star.
Shit. I know bad right now, with all that starving bullshit. And the dust storms, and we running out of french fries and burrito coverings.
Yeah.
But I got a solution.
That's what you said last time, dipshit.
Ironically, President Camacho would have a decent chance at winning the actual presidential election today, but it was again a connection that Terry Crews made on set that would get him another career-defining role, which was portraying Chris Rock's father on the TV sitcom Everybody Hates Chris.
I opened that up. He's like, I want you to play my dad. Because he saw me and my wife and my 2 kids out there in Santa Fe, New Mexico, when we was filming Longest Yard. He was watching. And that's the thing another people, you got to remember, everybody is watching. Everybody is watching. And so then I played Chris's dad on Everybody Hates Chris for 4 years straight.
Ooh.
This man, when I look at my life, man, I just thank God for every opportunity.
Everybody Hates Chris is an extremely highly rated sitcom, achieving a near perfect score from both fans and critics. And although it is a comedy, it is
I love his
primarily
dad,
about
too.
adolescence and
people say I live my life like Julius, unfortunately. You know, I'm pretty tight with a penny, as they say.
Family life in inner city poverty, the determined struggles of decent parents trying to provide a better life and values for their family, which made Terry the perfect candidate for the role, as that kind of explains his real life. Cruz's character Julius was loved for his insane levels of frugality.
I know you're not gonna throw that away. Eat that. That's 30 cents worth of oatmeal. Unplug that clock, boy. You can't tell time when you sleep. It's 2 cents an hour.
Throughout his career, Terry constantly broke the trope that muscular African Americans had to be portrayed as tough gangsters. Muscles aren't funny was a common thought in the industry, and Terry knew he could break that barrier. He didn't need to pretend to be something he wasn't for the approval of Hollywood. He didn't have to build some facade and maintain it so he could get consistent work. He always remained himself, and that's why fans loved him. Terry Crews is a giant muscular teddy bear that deserves to be loved and appreciated. After his hard work through the 2000s, Terry Crews was officially an A-list superstar, but his dark past that he hid from his wife was at its tipping point. Not the money, the fame, nor the acceptance from the world could distract him from the secret he was hiding from his family. And on his darkest day, to what he now calls D-Day, is when he had to admit to his wife that he had cheated on her.
Years go by, but my wife was always,
I know about that.
like, you know, what's up with you, Terry? And I'm like, I'm good. And I remember starting arguments, so she would stop talking. You start to forget which lie you told. You know, things start to conflate and mixing up, and the pornography never stopped. It would be at a lull, but I'd go like a month and be.
I know this nigga is not sane. Watching prawn is equal to cheating on his wife. I will literally run my head into this camera right now if this nigga is saying that. He better have had some hoes on the side, or I'm gonna get hella mad right now.
Like, oh wow, I'm good. And then February 2010, she was like, what is it I don't know about you, Terry Crews? And I'm like, what she has to complain about? You know, it's a good life, you know? And the question I would ask her, and I would literally ask myself, was like, why doesn't she believe me? When the question I should have been asking is, why am I lying? You know? And I had blamed her for not believing me. That's how deep it goes. And I'm gonna tell you, success is the warmest place to hide. You get a lot of sycophants. You get a lot of people telling you, you're right. I had tons of people like, man, you good. In comparison to everybody else, oh my God, you never hit your wife. You bring them.
From our Lush Reds.
You're bringing home the bacon. A lot of people say, in that situation, should he be able to do whatever he wants? Because look at the lifestyle that they're living, for God's sakes. Let's see.
You do all this stuff, but I was not real. I was a lie. I was living a lie. And when I told my wife, I heard this gasp on the other end, and I was like, oh boy, I think it's over. And she said, you know, I'm done. She said, I don't know who you are. I have no idea. Because see, to me, it happened 10 years ago. But to her, it happened today.
Most men in Hollywood, or in general, would have listened to their ego. They would have convinced themselves that their infidelity was no big deal, and it's menial compared to what other men do. Additionally, a Hollywood star like Terry Crews would probably have left their wife and just married some 21-year-old. But then, how would his kids view him? You see, Terry Crews was trying to be the role model that his father never was. He also loved his wife and cherished her loyalty to him. She stuck by him when he was nothing. She believed in him, and he knew that was something he could not just let go. They spent years repairing their relationship, but today they use their story as a way to help other couples revive their relationships.
So now, this is what you have to do. And I was totally prepared to live the rest of my life by myself, because knowing what I'd done, I was like, would I forgive me? See, that was the big thing. Like, would I forgive me? And you know what the answer was? No. No.
Yeah.
She did.
Many people praise Terry for opening up about his vulnerabilities.
This is when
he
it
says
starts.
he constantly receives emails and
swear to
messages
God,
from
this is
people
when
that
that
he has
sucker shit
inspired
started,
to
bruh.
get help for their addictions, or dive deeper into their faith to find answers for their darkness. However, not everyone thought him being vulnerable was honorable. Some of them thought it was funny. More specifically, when he announced to the world that he was sexually assaulted, guys like 50 Cent, Nick Cannon, and others publicly mocked him. On October 10th, 2017, Terry tweeted, "This whole thing with Harvey Weinstein is giving me PTSD. Why? Because this kind of thing happened to me. My wife and I were at a Hollywood function last year, and a high-level Hollywood executive came over to me and groped my privates. Jumping back, I said, 'What are you doing?' My wife saw everything and we looked at him like he was crazy. He just grinned like a jerk." The alleged perpetrator was Adam Vennet, who was the head of motion pictures for Morris Endeavor Entertainment, an American holding company for talent and media agencies with a net worth of around $6.9 billion, servicing A-list clients like Jake Gyllenhaal, Christian Bale, Hugh Jackman, Denzel Washington, and even Elvis Presley. Based on the casual nature of Terry's tweet, it was kind of hard to take him seriously. Then when he went on national news to tell his story, they realized this was no joke.
Back in February 2016, I was assaulted by Adam Vennet, who is the head of the motion picture department at William Morris Endeavor, one of the biggest agencies
For him
in the
to
world.
go online and say
He's
his name is
connected
great.
to, probably everyone I know in the business. I did not know this man.
So you did not know him before this?
I have never had a conversation with him, ever. I'm looking at him, and he's basically staring at me, and he's sticking his tongue out. And,
shit!
It's just overtly sexual kind of tongue moves, and I'm sitting there like, it's a party, it's packed, the whole thing, and I'm looking like, is this a joke? I mean, I don't understand. It was actually so bizarre, and he keeps coming over to me. He comes over to me, I stick my hand out, and he literally takes his hand and puts it and squeezes my genitals, and I jump back like, hey, and he's like, and he's still licking his tongue out and all this stuff, and I go, dude, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then he comes back again. And he just
This thing is
forceful. Pushed him back. He bumps into all the other party goers.
I've never heard this story before.
I have never
my God.
masculine,
Oh, fuck.
more objectified.
So you didn't think anybody would believe you if you came forward?
Last year, no. Actually, I let it go. Actually, I put it in the back of my head, and I understood why women everywhere had to let it go.
Okay,
but
see,
when the Weinstein thing started happening.
Let me pause for a minute. Let me get back. The way he told the story was funny. I'm not laughing at the situation. But that didn't sound funny the way he said, "Hey, man, what you doing?" Oh, shit, man. Whew. Scene. All right, we're back.
I got PTSD.
Shit.
I was going, oh my God, this exact thing happened to me.
Shortly after Terry reported this, he got a call from Adam Vennet himself.
I get a call. Here, it's him on the line. I'm sorry. I was drunk. I wasn't myself that night. And I said, hey, man, you got to understand the depth of what you did in front of my wife. I said, man, you don't even know how close you got to really being hurt. And I said, you need some help. I said, you need to go get help. And he was like, yeah, okay.
No.
Was it since?
No. He doesn't need help. You crazy? This nigga run Hollywood. That's their thing. Help what? What's it gonna say? Man, you shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do this to these girls and then give them Oscars and stuff like that. Ain't no helping these cats, man. Crazy? Damn, that story was funny, bruh.
Sincere. Did you feel like it was sincere?
No. It's like when people are sorry because they got caught.
After telling his story to the world, Terry then decided to file a police report with the LAPD about the incident.
He's
Cruz
wildin'.
first talked publicly about this
I don't
last
remember
month.
all this, yo.
People have to be held accountable. We're going to go all the way.
Determined to get justice, Cruz filed a lawsuit against Adam Vennet. Russell Simmons, a record executive who has never done any business with Terry Crews in his life, emailed Terry asking him if he would give the No,
know, and then you know Russell Simmons has a sketchy background. No, and then Terry puts that email out, or maybe they hacked into it and got it allegedly or something. But no, for him to be like, hey, let him slide, that's a bad look. That's a bad look, yo. Just still ravishing about the movie, or the story. This email's bad
Remained
looking, bro.
firm. Nobody gets a pass.
This email's bad looking,
I ignored it. When he emailed me at first, I ignored it, and then all of a sudden he's like, I got 0 tolerance for this thing. I'm like, wait a minute, you say you got 0 tolerance, but you told me to get a dude a pass when the dude did it to me. I said, that's because abusers protect abusers. This culture protects it. They protect each other like that.
Terry even told his story in front of the Senate.
Yo, C-SPAN? What the hell? This is crazy.
Author, former athlete, advocate, and a survivor of a sexual assault. This past year, we have seen
look at the nigga grinning right here,
in Hollywood and elsewhere finally held accountable for sexual harassment and assault. We also saw the backlash survivors faced after coming forward.
It's sad that people say, we need to care more about men who are SA'd too, but when men speak up about it, they oftentimes get made fun of and ridiculed. The people who should be ridiculed are the gross assailants, not the victims. Since this was at the heart of the Me Too movement, where most people speaking out were called opportunists and liars, many raised the argument that nobody could possibly assault a 250-pound muscular beast
look how
like
they can have them, the people that own Hollywood, can have this article. Look at the article that says it's time to unfollow Terry Crews. Then we could just have New York Post, from New York Post to LA Times, post that shit and run it. Media can destroy people, bro. Look how the media has destroyed the black image. And you know, when I do these travel things, they just all think we're like, yo, hip hop. Man, fuck that. You know what I mean? Like, too deep, guys.
Terry Crews, essentially proposing the idea that he was lying or doing this for attention. 50 Cent was one of the many who ridiculed him. On Instagram, he posted an image of a shirtless Terry Crews with the words, I got R-worded. My wife just watched. It also featured a second photo of Crews in a suit with a rose in his mouth with the words, gym time. In the caption, he wrote, LOL, what the F is going on here, man? Terry, I froze in fear. They would have had to take me to jail. Get the strap. 50 doubled down on his comments in an interview with Larry King.
Terry Crews is like the Hulk. This guy's like huge. And he when he gets into a scenario, starts to explain the scenario, because he was speaking to the Senate, and the lady asked him, well, you didn't do anything, you didn't like push him off, or... And I just couldn't get how he said that he didn't, like he froze, like he was afraid.
And Terry was approached and asked to respond to 50's comments. He took the high road.
Today, 50 Cent took a shot at you on one of his posts, saying that saying with how big you are, how could this have happened to you?
Yeah.
And he said if it had happened to him, he would have grabbed his strap.
Well, I love 50 Cent. I listen to his music while I'm working out. That's the deal.
Anything about how big you are? Is that something is that a fair comment by him?
Well, first of all, I proved that size doesn't matter when it comes to sexual assault.
But that didn't stop the conversation around Terry. In fact, it just poured more gas on the fire. Some people even started to ponder if Terry was gay, and that maybe he liked it.
Is there a chance that Terry just might be gay?
And you see how Vlad stupid ass says that and gets that ball rolling? This Vlad fella is something else, bro. This character is something else, man. Don't know about too much about this guy, Doc. I look at this guy with my good eye, my Gustavo eye.
Closet yet?
Let me tell you something. When I saw that today, right, it with me for a split second, because I had the same thought that you just had. When you're from the street, and now Terry Crews from Flint. He's from Flint, Michigan. I don't know nobody else. Some of the coldest gangsters I know come out of Flint, Michigan. So
TK Kirkland talks funny.
Fuck he was trying to prove with the purse and the boots, I don't get it, because it doesn't prove anything. And to the LBGTQ, to the Terry Cruzes of the world, listen, We're not here to bash nobody. Some things are just misconstrued. And don't forget, we are entitled to our opinions also.
More of Terry's peers chimed in, like comedian D.L. Hewley.
What do you think of the whole Terry Crews thing?
I think it's hard for me to think that a dude with all those muscles can't tell an agent to not touch his ass.
His ass or his...
Whatever.
Whatever he touched.
I just do. I don't understand. I think that now everybody's so into this notion that it happened to me too. Hey, motherfucker, God gave you muscles so you could say no.
Presumably fed up for being mocked and ridiculed for over a year, Terry kind of snapped at D.
You should try a treat in a bottle. Treat in a bottle? What do you mean?
And the way he responded just caused even more controversy. He got into a back and forth with D.L. Hewley on Twitter where D.L. suggested that he should have slapped the executive for groping him, to which Terry replied, "So sir, if you truly feel that is a correct way to deal with toxic behavior, should I slap the shit out of you?" This tweet absolutely exploded with 227,000 likes, but they were just in it for the drama. Many others felt like Terry crossed a line.
So let me get this straight. He want to slap the black man for commenting on his situation.
Not Willie D. Oh, Willie.
But he does nothing to the white man who created the situation by molesting him and basically dry-ing him in front of his wife.
Nick Cannon jumped in on the conversation. While he said he respects the way Terry handled the situation, he doesn't think that absolves him for being joked on.
A little chubby white man grabbed your nuts and you ain't do shit. That's funny. You a big ass motherfucker. We gonna joke about that. Right. You come on Wildin' Out, it's gonna be nut grabbing jokes for the whole episode. Like, because it happened in the public, we're talking about. It's not. We can joke about this. There's no hate involved in this, but that's how you get over that. Humor heals. Like, let's talk about it. So he can't. I don't agree with him jumping out there and you know, badgering all of these other people who are just talking about it. Like, they're Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, they made jokes about it too. Why you not getting crazy with them?
Nobody seemed to acknowledge that if Terry Crews beat the snot out of this guy, he would be labeled as the crazy black guy who overreacted and beat up the innocent white executive who was just playing a little joke. Unfortunately, Terry's lawsuit never got to see a trial, and a settlement was reached between Bennett and Crews, meaning Terry did get some sort of payout. Bennett denied the allegations in court documents, claiming his actions towards Crews were not sexual and caused no harm. However, Crews claims that the case was thrown out because Bennett was in the LAPD's pockets. He tweeted, "Adam Bennett has been the event chairman of the LAPD Foundation, which raises millions for the LAPD. Anyone wonder why my assault case against him was thrown out by the DA? Yeah. #MeToo. Terry risked his career to try to expose the dark reality of a Hollywood executive, and for that he was mocked and ridiculed by his peers. Some of them will never work with Terry because of this, but it doesn't really seem like it impacted his ability to get work. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Terminator Salvation, The Expendables 1, 2, and 3, Bridesmaids, Arrested Development, The Ridiculous Six, Sorry to Bother You, Deadpool 2, hosting America's Got Talent, and even becoming the most iconic Old Spice spokesman in history, it's safe to say that standing up for what was right paid off in the end. All of Terry's decisions, even if deemed controversial, were done in the spirit of being the man his father never was. Terry is redefining masculinity, constantly asking himself, what is the right thing to do as a husband and as a father? And despite all the pain, torment, and abuse his father put onto him, he forgave him, and they made amends.
And I got with my father, and I forgave him. I learned, I said, you know what? My wife taught me forgiveness. I need to forgive you. And I'll never forget these words. I said, you know what? I've been waiting on you to say you're sorry. You know what? I am going to say right now, that if I could choose my parents, I'd choose you because I came through you. I'm not from you. I came through you. You didn't come from your parents. You came through them. So you do not have to take the stuff that they have. You can choose what to take. You can choose the good or choose the bad. You don't have to settle for, well, this is what we did, this is how we are. So I told him that, and he broke down. He broke down, and I gave him the hug of a lifetime. And this hug lasted, I swear it felt like it lasted 10 minutes. And he cried, and he broke down. And he said, I'm sorry for what I did to you and Marcel. He said, I'm sorry for what I did to you and your brother and your sister and your mother. And that's what I was waiting on. And it made me free. It made me free.
You should have beat that nigga's ass one good more time. You feel me? Nah, just like, hey, another video. Fuck, man, I'm still tripping, yo. Hey, another great video about PatrickCC. Thank you, guys. Let's get to this 100. Road to 100, man. We're almost there, 60 or whatever. Let's get this 100. We'll never have a commercial again. I'm always gonna leave the commercial in until we get the 100, y'all. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all.